Hi, everybody. Welcome to the, what is it, May 7th MakerDAO community call. As many of you know, these calls, we like to go over what's been going on in the MakerDAO universe over the last week. And we typically go over some of the real life events that we're going to be attending, people from the foundation will be attending and participating in. We go over like technical milestones, things that have happened in governance, new partnerships, new hires, podcasts, videos, articles, the whole nine yards. We also do a section for highlighting things from the community. As many of you know, we have a thriving and awesome community that's always pumping out like developer creations and articles and like analysis pieces and really great threads on our subreddits. And this is a place where we like to highlight those and kind of get people to see what's been going on in the space if you don't have a lot of time to like constantly browse Reddit like we do. So, welcome to the call. My name's David. I'm the core community lead here. And this call is also a great place to have guests and to kind of show the community things that are, projects that are working in the MakerDAO ecosystem and in the sort of decentralized finance ecosystem in general. And today, for the first part of the call, I have a special guest, Eli Christopher, who's with Whisp.money. And if some of you guys were on Reddit over the past 2 weeks, you might have seen that Whisp.money announced that their payroll solution uses Dai. And I invited Eli to come demo it for us for both the employer side and the employee side. So, Eli, you want to come on and introduce yourself a bit more?
Awesome. Thank you, David. So yeah, my name's Chris Eley. I go by Eley, my last name. I am one of the founders of Whisp, and we started probably a little over 2.5 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, with the idea of doing something for payroll, specifically with stablecoins and the dawn of them. We love Dai, so we started making it with Dai. And it's been a little road. We started a little bit before ETH Denver here. And since then, we've built out a version 1, and we're building out a lot more stuff in the coming weeks here too. So with that, I'll just screen share and start working on it. Awesome.
And so Eli had me actually sign up as an employee, so I have the other side of it.
Yes. And I'm actually, at the end of it, once I make the payment to you, I'm going to give you the screen back, and you can pop yours up, and I'm going to walk you through everything on your side.
Nice.
Awesome. So I skipped the login page because everyone knows how to make a login. I think you guys are smart people, but this is the dashboard that you receive when you log in. You have your payments as well as your workers. You see David's already logged in here. I have my own account for another worker account that I set up for this demo. It's already connected to my MetaMask, but if you logged in for the first time, it wants you to log in and connect to your MetaMask. MetaMask pops up. Cool. We have Dai and data in here already. And so at that point, I can show you how you add a worker. So if David wasn't here, I could add him.
Is data related to the platform?
Yeah, so Streamer.io is the people that created the data token. We're working with them to help pay their brand ambassadors as well as a couple of their employees in their data token. I think it's 50 or so employees, and they were going to do everything manually, and we're helping them automate all of their processes. So.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. The pilot program probably going to start in the next few weeks. We're just trying to finalize how they want to do everything from an infrastructure perspective on their part. But yeah, it's really, really cool. But if I wanted to add someone, if I had all these 50 employees, I would just go add their email. I'm going to use a dummy email I have. Send invite, sends link to your email. You guys see the pending invitation over here. And at that point, if I logged in my email, I'd have a link that I can click on, set up my name, and then also my Ethereum address. And then everything's good to go. And that happens once you've done that in real time, it'll switch over to saying Chris Eley has set up his account. For now, though, I'm going to show a quick payment, really simple, new payment. We make you type in a note section. This is for your accounting purposes as well as the worker knowing what they were paid for. So this is the MakerDAO community unity call bribe. And it's going to go to good old David over here. You're going to get 1 Dai.
Ha ha ha.
And then we go confirm. Oh, it's going to pop me out of this full screen. So MetaMask is going to pop all the way up on my screen here. And confirm. comes on back. You can see
sweet. That was lightning fast. I actually see it on my end.
Yeah, awesome. So real time happens there. At that point, you can click on the actual, like on your screen, and we can show it to them, everyone else. That you can click on there. It'll pop up Etherscan, show you what's going on with the transaction, all the metadata involved in that. If I go back, pull that back up. And then we can export it to a CSV. Also, this is kind of the huge help for a lot of the accounting and finance teams. It's really simple, but they just don't have the ways to automate it, or they have these multiple spreadsheets that are going on for everything. Let me pull this up. And then it sees I made a payment on the 4th of May, and then there's one today. And it shows the amount that's been paid, what the token is, who the worker is, it's been sent, the address, transaction hash data. We're going to add a little bit more stuff to this to make it more robust of what you're able to do, like essentially what was the price at the point of payment or the point of earned, so you're able to do that and start to do capital gains tax calculations, as well as looking at being able to denominate this in various currencies. So with the streamer, actual agreement would be to add various currencies, Swiss franc being one of the ones that's important to them, as well as UK pound, et cetera, in that regard. So that's kind of the cool stuff that's being exporting and making it way easier for accounting teams. With that, that's like really, it's super light and super easy. It should be pretty self-explanatory in how you're doing it. When we start to add more things like batch payments and the currency stuff, you get a little bit more robust with what you're able to do. But with that, I kind of can like actually switch over to, since David's already been able to see the transaction, we can switch over to David's side and see what he sees on the worker side.
Yeah, you guys missed it, but there was a really, really cool like little notification once the transaction actually cleared. So
you want me to send you another transaction so they can see it real quick?
Yeah, sure. I'll share my screen.
Yeah, I'll get off of this. Stop presenting. All right. And then I will send you a payment now. Send you another one. Another one Dai. You're 2 Dai richer today, David.
Nice, man. It's gonna go straight to some charity. I'm gonna use my 2 Dai well.
Okay. All right.
I'll donate it to UNICEF.
There you go. Give it to a Gitcoin grant or something too. There you go.
Yeah.
2 Dai. It matters. All right. And then there.
Yeah, so here. It's pending. This is the Etherscan address. Ignore my million tabs.
Sorry to put you on the spot there.
Hey man, why are you shorting me? The hell? No, I'm just joking. But this is great. Yeah, and up here you see the little payment notification. That's so cool. And then here I could also export as CSV. Let me hide this. I don't know if you guys see the Excel sheet that I just popped up, but it's blank.
Oh, it's
probably. Yeah, here, hold on. Let me try this again.
Oh, let's see, get some questions. Transactions fee sending 1 Dai. Okay, yeah. For this purpose, it's not good.
Yeah, it seems to be blank for some reason.
Oh, well, I will put that down as feedback for why it's blank on your end. That's not good for whatever reason. Still some bugs. Yeah. Back blank CSV. That's the first time that's happened. So, and I got to figure out what bug's in there now.
Yeah. Do you guys actually see the CSV when I pull it up, though?
I don't see the CSV when you're pulling it up right now.
All right, here, hold on. I'm gonna share my entire screen here then.
We're sending 1 Dai.
Yeah, so here we go. So I'm gonna export it, open it. Yeah, and it's blank. Nothing in here. Yeah. All right, we'll figure it out.
Okay, cool.
All right, so let's see the chat. Let's see if anybody has some questions.
I think there is one question about the transaction fee scaling with the amount that you're paying. Yeah, because the fee I paid was extremely high right now for that 1 Dai transaction. Just for the purpose of this, I sent it. In MetaMask, you can change how much gas, obviously, you want to be paying. We originally were looking in doing something where we would do a faucet, where we would be, we provide a service, you pay a little bit more for the fee, like you pay a monthly fee, and we provide the service of actually having a gas strip for you and managing the gas fee. We're probably not going to do that anymore. So as long as you're aware of how much the gas costs and you want to check each gas station for to be more precise in your way that you're spending, that's probably the best way. We're not going to optimize that. It's going to leave it to MetaMask.
Nice. Akiva asks how the software is monetized.
So right now it's free to use. All the initial version 1 and probably most of version 2 will be all free to use. We make money on onboarding companies who are wanting to pay US dollars to crypto, as well as when we start doing batch payments. So you're doing, like, for a streamer, for instance, they do 50 transactions in every cycle. That's not something that's trivial, and being able to record all of that. So we take a small fee on those batch payments. So that's kind of how we'd monetize the project right there. But we want to encourage people to feel comfortable using crypto, specifically stable coins like Dai, for paying freelancers or your international workers. So we're really trying to push that message forward, and by providing service for free, we think that that will be helpful.
Nice. This is really cool. It also makes me think of like emerging economies, emerging markets, like, places in Africa and, like, perhaps China, but who
Yeah,
knows? A lot of different countries could probably use like a permissionless kind of completely independent payroll solution. And this is
yeah,
really cool. This is really, really cool. I like this a lot. It's super simple, which I like. What are
yeah.
some of the additional functionalities that you guys have planned?
So
Besides
we
like batch payments, I remember you mentioned, right?
Yeah, batch payments. We have denominations in various currencies. So this is really important for accounting teams to be able to put in, I'm going to pay David $1,000 for his service as a community manager in US dollars, and being able to put that into the system and then having that export out to them, regardless of the amount of ETH or the DAI that they're spending. That's more important to them. So that's one of the other big features we're going to be looking at, as well as this is a little bit further than the next wave of upgrades, but doing tax accounting or tax calculations. We're not your financial advisor, but we can definitely do some generalized taxing and understanding that. We're looking at doing some escrow with, like, withholding stuff, so that you're able to maintain the ability to pay taxes later on.
Nice, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's really cool. So it basically becomes like a more official, like real, like functional in the United
Yeah,
States payroll.
yeah. The next step is getting the 1099s. Eventually, it's still W-2s are a little bit difficult from a legal perspective, but we're definitely on the train for that right now.
Nice. Well, this is a really, really great sort of MVP. It works
Yeah,
well. I'm too die richer.
yeah.
All right. Do you guys have any other questions? Oh, actually, I did
Go
have
for David.
another question.
Yeah,
If you guys have questions, feel free to put them up in the chat. I'll ask them to Chris, or Chris can read them, or you can actually hop on a mic and on video if you guys have. But my question was: are the ETH addresses and names logged centrally, or is it kind of like client side, like when somebody signs up for Wisp?
so when you're looking at, like, the login stuff, that is centralized, and then the actual addresses is client side. So
Interesting. Okay, that's great.
I'm,
Okay,
I'm
cool.
pretty sure that's right. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So because my concern when I was signing up, I was like, do I want to put my name and my actual Ethereum address in the same, like, should I use a different Ethereum address? But
Yeah,
okay,
that's
fair enough.
yeah.
That's good to consider for the crypto anarchists in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, with the worker side, you can put, like, with MetaMask, you can use your MetaMask account, or you can use any other account you want. So with
Right.
the company side, you have to use a MetaMask or a Web3 provider. But with the worker, you
Why
can do
is
whatever you
that?
want. It's just easier because on the payment side, it's a lot easier for MVP specifically to be able to just make them use MetaMask, or we're probably going to do Formatics integrations and stuff like that going forward. But it becomes very difficult when you're like, oh, you can use anything
Yeah.
to use the Web3 interactions. Yeah.
But I imagine that's like in the future you would allow companies to use like their cold wallets that
Mm-hmm.
or whatever.
Or whatever wallet, hot wallet, cold wallet, etc. Yeah, we want to reduce the amount of transactions they have to do going
Right.
forward. So yeah, that's definitely the works. Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
freaking cool, man. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on. This was great. This
Awesome.
is really cool.
Thanks for having me, guys. If you guys know anybody who needs help with crypto payroll, let me know, or wants to do crypto payroll. I've become indoctrinated in the past 4 months, so let's go. All right.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, Ely. You've been great. And if anybody has questions that they think up after the call, feel free to hit up Ely. His Twitter handle is, I'll post it in the chat right now.
Call me
But
easy.
yeah, it's Call Me Ely. I have to Google it. I mean, not Google it, but search it up because I don't have it on hand. Here we go. All right.
There you go.
Yeah, so hit up Ely if you guys want to ask more questions. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for coming on. And so for the rest of the call, we're gonna go through our usual programming, I guess, and we're gonna go through some of the events that we are participating in this week. And I guess to start off, let's talk about Europe. Lenka, you here? I think you're muted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm unmuted. Hi, guys. It's great to be part of the call again. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 events in the next coming 2-week span when it comes to Europe to share with you. First one is on the 16th in Warsaw, Poland, where our head of Oasis, Bartek, will be speaking at the event called Digital Money and Blockchain Forum. He'll give a keynote about MakerDAO and our role in DeFi ecosystem. Next one we have in Copenhagen on the 20th. Here in Denmark, and it's European Blockchain Convention. This should be more of let's call it institutional and more business-oriented event. And our head of product, CERN, will be part of this one. He'll be joining a panel where he'll be discussing the progress or the milestones that are needed for institutional acceptance of digital assets. On the same day, actually, in London, we'll have Gustav, who is from our BD team, joining a meetup themed commercial ways blockchain and digital assets are being used. And he'll do a intro to Maker, and he will try to focus on how do we enable our ecosystem to grow and how do we expand the use of Dai and CDP technology beyond our own ecosystem. And on the May 23rd and 24th, there is an event happening in Malta. It's called Malta Blockchain Summit. This one is a spring edition of the event, and we'll have 2 speakers there. We'll have Gustav doing a workshop on different blockchain partnerships in the real non-blockchain world, and he'll speak about financial inclusion and the DeFi movement as well. And then we'll have Jacek, who is our legal counsel in Europe, to discuss fintech, securities, and regulation. And there's quite good representation when it comes to different people who are speaking at the event. So, for instance, one of the Bitcoin Foundation founding members, Jon Matunis, will be there, etc. So it's quite interesting and big event in Malta. I will miss that one, but it looks really interesting. And when it comes to me, I'll be focusing a bit more on Money20 Europe. And there is a Dutch blockchain week happening. So if any of you knows about some cool meetup, please let me know. This is early June. And this is it from me. Thanks.
Nice. Thanks for the update, Lenka. Awesome. Yeah, and as for the US, some of you know there's a New York Blockchain Week going on. Starting, I guess, Thursday, which kicks off with the Fluidity event, and our very own Greg, head of BD, is going to be speaking there on the 9th, on Thursday. And it's going to be basically stretching out through, I think the the last event that we're participating in is on the 16th, the Toget Summit NYC, where Stephen Becker is going to be speaking. And in between there, we're also going to be participating in Consensus, both Consensus Construct and Consensus Invest. So if you're interested in any of these events, by the way, in the active agenda, they're all linked, so you guys could click on them, read more about them, and see more specifically what's being talked about, what the event is themed around, etc., etc. So we're going to be basically participating in 4 events over the course of the next week in terms of speaking, but we have a bunch of other stuff going on, like the MakerDAO Mosendo meetup. We have a team barbecue. we have a couple of things going on. It's going to be a good week in New York. But yeah, that's about it for events. Now I'm gonna jump into kind of the official stuff that's been going on this week. And before I do, I just want to jump in. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop on your mic and video, ask them. feel free to interrupt me or ask them in the chat, and we'll see them and I'll answer them. But yeah, so I'm going to be going through, I'm going to skip the partnership first. I'm going to go through some of the other stuff that's been going on. As some of you have seen on Reddit and Twitter, there's a notice if you are an MKR token holder who is actively voting, that there was a critical update done to the governance voting contract. So we are advising everybody who has MKR in the old DS Chief in the old voting contract to withdraw it, and you could do so very simply by visiting migrate.makerdao.com. And so, kind of what happened here with the contract is there was a audit being performed by Coinbase and Zeppelin, and it's a second round of audits for the maker voting contract. And during the process, we discovered the need to make a critical update. So basically, migrate if you haven't yet. Sooner the better. And yeah, there's going to be a fuller sort of postmortem on the issue that was found after everything is kind of after everybody migrates, after everything is kind of plugged up. So stay tuned for that. Additionally, at the same time, we put out a blog post this week called Introducing a New Governance Onboarding Experience. And so this was actually in response to a lot of the feedback we got from the community asking for sort of one wallet voting and not necessarily needing a voting proxy to connect your hot and cold wallet. So now there's a new onboarding process, which is like makes it, if you're a first-time voter, it makes setting up the voting contract a lot easier, and it improves the overall voting method. And so, yeah, that's besides the fact that you can vote now with a single wallet, hot or cold, and also you could use the old sort of vote with your hot wallet while maintaining ownership of your MKR with your cold wallet. So definitely read the blog. It's more informative than I am. So check it out. Yeah. Besides that, also related to governance, we had an executive vote on Friday, May 3rd. Sorry, not Friday, May 3rd. What am I saying? Yeah, actually, oh, look at that. Yeah, so it actually did come out on Friday, May 3rd, and it passed on the same day with about 35,221.95 MKR. Not about, exactly 35,221.95 MKR. And so MKR token holders voted to increase the stability fee by 3% to a total of 19.5%. And also, with that, we've been seeing some interesting stuff going on with the Dai peg. Just to give you guys a brief, overview, as many of you guys have been asking. The fees seem to have had a very clear effect on the Dai supply. We're at, I think, about 82 million, down from our all-time high of, I think, 96 million or 95 million. So the fee raises have definitely caused a lot of people to wipe their CDP debt and move over to cheaper financing instruments. And so I think that we're finally starting to see the efficacy of the stability fee. But of course, there's still a lot of analysis to be done, and there's still a lot of wait and see happening. But we see that the peg has been getting healthier over the last few days specifically. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And if you're interested in governance, this is a perfect time that I could plug the Thursday governance and risk call that we put on. If you're not around, it's Thursday at the same time as this meeting. So it's 12 p.m. EST. If you are not around Thursday, we put out a summary after the call. And all of these calls are, they're recorded, they're put up on SoundCloud and YouTube. So feel free to check it out. And we also have a bunch of people and a big discussion going on our secondary subreddit, r/mkr.gov. So join us for the discussion. In addition to that, we also have a new Mcd Changelog page that was released by the team. So you guys don't have to look for the blog posts. If you want, there's just a really simple page. It's at changelog.makerdao.com, and it shows the most recent MCD releases on Kovan, and also the upcoming releases. So there's going to be an upcoming release on the 17th of May in about 10 days, and we are moving the MCD contracts to the Goreli network. So fun. And again, the link is all there in the active agenda if you guys want to bookmark it, save it. And I think it might have been posted to Reddit already. All right. Besides that, our next FAQ has been released this week. It got unsticky temporarily, but it's going to be back on top of the MakerDAO subreddit soon. But it is the CDP FAQs. So as many of you know, we've been rolling out these FAQs. We have a whole series of them. I think it's between 10 and 12 documents. And we open them up to Reddit because, you know, our community knows a lot about Maker and is generally awesome at proofreading and offering feedback and improvements. So check out the FAQ. If you guys see anything that needs to be changed, better sentence structure, something that just doesn't make sense, comment on the thread and we'll check it out and we'll change it accordingly. And eventually all of these get hosted on our GitHub, which also, even after they're hosted on GitHub, we invite the community to submit pull requests and change details if anything is kind of, the information is not right, I guess. Yeah, so that's also something that happened this week. All right, cool. So now I'm gonna go to the partnership. So we partnered this week. We only had one partnership announcement, which is with the Giving Block, and it's a partnership to increase overall nonprofit adoption. And so, you know, nonprofits. There's a lot of great reasons. The science DAO. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. I actually think I miscategorized it. I should have put it in the partnerships, but yeah, I'm gonna talk about it in just a second. But so the Giving Block and MakerDAO partnership to increase nonprofit adoption. At MakerDAO, we've been super proactive at trying to kind of partner with nonprofits, charitable organizations, because there's a lot of really clear benefits to using cryptocurrency as a nonprofit organization. And if you're interested, I posted a link to an article right below that partnership called "Why Should Nonprofits Accept Cryptocurrency Donations?" and it's actually published by the Giving Block. So check it out, and you'll see some of the benefits. It's really a great kind of vertical that we've been tackling, and we're really happy that we've been seeing adoption there, especially by big names like UNICEF. So it's cool. And then the second partnership, which here is bringing stability to charitable giving. Oh no, wait. Yeah, sorry. So this, where did I have the science DAO or the? I know what you're talking about, Akiva. I gotta find it, but I know it's somewhere here in my agenda because I remember. Yeah, I put it somewhere in here. But all right. So the other thing that is related to charitable giving is bringing stability to charitable giving. Social Alpha Foundation announces its first Dai donation from MakerDAO. So the MakerDAO's donation, we pledged, I think, something a little bit over 1,000 Dai, which was raised actually from the proceeds of the Dappy Hour that was held in Sydney in April. And so basically what we're trying to help with Social Alpha Foundation is that, well, Social Alpha Foundation actually explores like the usage of Dai to help funding to public health, educational, environmental projects, and utilizing social blockchain for social impact. So again, we're just kind of exploring the charitable foundation, like charitable organization benefits of using Dai. So yeah, I know I know exactly what you're talking about, Akiva. I gotta find it. I think it might be in highlights from the community, actually. Yeah, it's Iku and Maker. Yeah, that's what it is. All right, so I'll get to that. Actually, yeah, I'll get to that in a sec. So moving forward, if you guys have any questions about any of those things, feel free to post them again. So highlights from the community this week. We put out, as many of you know, the first Monday of every month at Community Development, we put out the winner for the community mention of the month. And if you don't know what the community mention of the month is, now's the time that you're going to learn. It's basically every month we choose a winner, and we curate like a bunch of great threads from our Reddit, from our subreddits, and we highlight high effort, thoughtful threads and also developer creations from our community. And we choose one, and that one guy or girl gets some Reddit Platinum and a 50 Dai tip. And it's just a great way to kind of put the spotlight on our community and and really kind of, yeah, just give somebody a feature for doing great work. And so this month, it was a Reddit user by the name of Tuned3F. And he posted a really thoughtful thread called an attempt at debunking the myth that an increased stability fee decreases Dai demand and other misconceptions. And it was a really great thread. There was a lot of great comments in it. And overall, we love seeing things like this from our community, so check it out. And also check out the post in general, because there's a curated list of great threads that happened in the last month. So, yeah. So some developer creations from what happened this week. We saw somebody hack together a page which shows how much Dai is currently on sale below $1 on Coinbase. And this is really cool because it actually just adds the entire sell book under $1. And I think right now, I'm actually going to check. Yeah, there's $431,000 of Dai below $1 on Coinbase. So really just interesting ideas that our community has been coming up with, which is really great. We also saw Poketo, which is the first XDAI only iOS wallet for your day-to-day transactions. And kind of in parallel, occupying a different market fit, there was also the Metacash gasless Dai wallet that came out this week. So you no longer need Ether to send Dai if you use this wallet. And it uses this really cool kind of functionality in the Ether code to make that happen. And I don't know the technicals of it, but the founders of the Metacash gasless Dai wallet put up a write-up on how it works, also in our subreddit, which is linked in the active agenda. So you can check that out if you're interested in the technical details. Moving forward to a handful of interesting articles that came out this week. So Christine Kim, who attends a lot of our calls, actually put out a little write-up on the demo that we did last week of the multi-collateral CDP portal. So if you haven't seen it, it's recorded, it's on YouTube. You could check out kind of the MVP of the portal and how it works. There's a bunch of bugs that are going on with it that are actively being kind of untied and worked through. So it's very much work in progress. And, seeing write-ups like that actually really kind of inspired me to try to get more multi-collateral Dai related things on this community call. So starting with, I think on May 21st, we're going to have our team's very own Petru Katana. He's going to be demoing the multi-collateral Dai CLI, and he's going to give us a walkthrough on how to get started playing with multi-collateral Dai on not Kovan, I guess, because it's going to be already Goroli, the Goroli testnet. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. So yeah, so we're going to have a bit more demos on multi-collateral Dai related things and technical related things related to MakerDAO. So yeah, cheers. Besides that article, we also had a Medium post on the IQ and MakerDAO collab, and it was basically a walkthrough. Yeah, Lenka, me too. I can't wait for Petra's demo too. So the IQ and MakerDAO collab, when it was initially launched, a lot of people were a bit confused about what IQ is. And so they put out this article that was a bit of a walkthrough. It helped explain to people what they do and how MakerDAO's Dai kind of ties into their model. And I wrote some notes here. So they present an optimized, open source, permissionless innovation architecture that can be deployed right now. So using Dai, combined with IQ's decentralized research organization model, they defeat the patent system inefficiencies while incentivizing a high bandwidth environment for censorship-resistant open exchange of scientific R&D property rights. So it's a really innovative idea in the land of I guess R&D and medical patents and all that kind of stuff. So check them out if that's your world. And then the last article I want to highlight that I saw this week was an article published by Masari, and it was called Introducing CIRI, CIRI, the Crypto Interest Rate Index. And this was very much an interesting article because I think last month, Matteo Leibowitz put out an article that kind of created a rate called DIBOR, which is the Dai Interprotocol Offered Rate. And what DIBOR is compared to the Crypto Interest Rate Index, what Masari is suggesting is the DIBOR is basically a rolling 24-hour volume-weighted average borrow rate. Since the borrow rates can change and differ on compound block to block, on maker week to week, So it's kind of a 24-hour, rate that is there. But the crypto interest rate has more to do with like fixed interest rates. And I haven't fully read through the article, but it's an interesting kind of complementary metric that I think would be really healthy for the crypto kind of economy. So check that out if you're into crypto economics. And then lastly, I added a bunch of handful of good threads that I saw this week, judging by the comment activity and ideas. There was one talking about different ways to increase demand for Dai, and there was a lot of really constructive comments in that thread. There was also another thread highlighting the USDC borrow rates being at 17.9%, and just made it a point to kind of calm the people that are very upset about the rise of CDP rates over the past few months. There was another thread on questions about the DSR that was super informative in the comments. There was also borrowing Dai against BTC and DeFi with ETHLend, which is really cool that you could borrow Dai against Bitcoin. It's awesome. And then lastly, there was a really cool analytic kind of, what was this, a chart or a discussion? I can't really remember. It was called Correlation Between Dai USD, ETHUSD, Dai Supply, and Dai Stability Fee in one chart. Yeah, so the guy put together a chart and in the comments explained how to interpret it and some of the things he's been seeing. So really cool stuff. And then besides that, yeah, we have the governance thread, which is a written recap, kind of a brief written recap. We have transcripts that are put out every week by our awesome community member Quadratics, and they're published on our GitHub, so you can check those out. But if you want a brief recap, you can check out that thread. So yeah, that kind of concludes all the stuff that's been going on in Maker for the last week. And happy to open it up to you guys with questions or things that I might have missed, or things that you guys want to bring up and talk about.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about the fact that we might be moving into like a new phase of what the Dai peg is. The last 3 months has been, how do we get Dai back to $1? And now it's looking like Dai is strongly above 99 cents. Let me pull up Dai stablecoin while I talk about this. And so that kind of brings into relevancy a bunch of new questions, like how close to $1 do we need? Should we have? Like, what is an acceptable bound to be around $1? I know ideally that every time you sell Dai, you're selling it for 99 cents, and every time you buy Dai, you're buying it for $1 and a penny, or maybe even tighter. But when we start to get within 99 to $1, like, is that acceptable, or do we want to go even tighter than that? And then also, when it comes to the stability fee, like, should we be experimenting with, after the Dai, the other, before I get there, how long do we want Dai to be between like 99 cents and $1 before we claim that the peg is fixed? Like, that's another important question. And then also, after that, the Dai peg has been around $1 for the agreed upon amount of time that we deem acceptable, like, do we start to then lower the stability fee just to see if it can stay there? Because do we want to experiment with having lower stability fees just for the sake of CDP holders, and do we want to see if that impacts the Dai peg? Like, these are all going to be new questions that come up in the next phase of MakerDAO governance.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up. And it was actually brought up in the last governance and risk meeting. That's some of the questions that we started asking, I guess, towards the end of the call, but we had it on the agenda, basically asking exactly that. And a lot of the kind of comments we got were, examining two-way flow around $1. And yeah, generally speaking, those are awesome questions. And I'm excited to finally break out of the Dai's below the peg. Let's save Dai. Now we can talk about kind of the next phase in understanding Dai's monetary policy and like how Maker governance should be managing it. So yeah, those are great points.
I'm also looking forward to all of the MakerDAO bears have to switch their narrative to something else that's not the Dai being broken, having a broken peg. I'm looking forward to see where they change their narrative to.
Yeah, you know, haters gonna hate. Okay. It's okay. I'm really excited to see that the management is working, although with lag and although with a lot of uncertainty, and although it's a lot of kind of making the best guess with the information that governance has. It's been a complete delight seeing the level of people participating in this governance. Really, we see like a lot of really amazing community driven analysis, and yeah, it's great to see that.
Totally. I wouldn't even say that there was much lag. We don't really know how much time it I mean, it could have took a year. It could have taken 3 days. We don't really know. And so
Absolutely.
this was our first time frame experiment. And so like maybe next time we can do it faster, but 3 months for the first time where it's experiment, that's fine with me.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that the market makers were starting to get squeezed a bit. All those rates, like the wires rate was starting to go out of, going crazy. Everybody's kind of died to fiat rates were going nuts because all the market makers were just, topped to the max.
Yeah.
But I think that we actually got reports this week from Wire saying that their Dai inventories fell by like I think 30% or something like that. And I'm excited to hear other market makers hopefully on the community on the governance call on Thursday. That's going to be good. Yeah, man. Thanks for bringing those points up. That's really important.
Totally.
All right. So with that, I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. If you guys have anything else. Oh, actually, I wanted to bring up another thing that I totally forgot about. I don't know how I keep forgetting about this, but Reuptaken, aka Marcin, he is spearheading an awesome bounties project that I've been working with him on. And so with all the FAQs that are rolling out, we want to basically bounty our community members to do translations of these documents. And we're going to be putting out some stuff. I'm hopefully going to put out the bounties of what's available to be translated later on today. But we're going to be sharing some resources on Reddit, hopefully in the next couple of days. So if you guys know anybody that is interested in making a couple hundred Dai, send them to the hashtag translation channel that was newly created on Rocket Chat. I'm actually going to link it in the chat for you guys in just a second. But yeah, we're hoping to get more localized content because MakerDAO. Yeah, thank you, Marcin. Marcin linked it. So MakerDAO, as you know, is it's a global financial platform. Basically, it's not limited to English, and obviously our community is also not limited to English, and that's evidenced by the fact that we've been seeing a lot of Eastern traffic, China and Japan and Korea. We've been seeing a lot of their traffic on the CDP portal and on the white paper. And in general, it's very clear that translation of content and making educational resources available for people that are interested in what we are available, that's super important. And so we want to give the chance. We'd rather bounty it from the community than pay some translator company, because we feel that our community knows better. Our community could probably do way better quality than a translator that doesn't know our system, and also it just gives us a chance to distribute Dai to the people that are most passionate about it. So yeah, join the chat if you guys have any ideas of how to make this program better. Hit us up, but we're going to be rolling it out this week, and then hopefully in actually the next couple of days. So yeah. And with that, if anybody has any other questions, comments, topics they want to discuss, we got about 15 minutes left in the call, but we can end it a bit early if we want. All right, cool. Well, thank you guys for coming on this Tuesday's community call. Can't wait to have you guys next week. And next week, our guest will most likely be the guys at CDP Saver. And if you guys don't know about CDP Saver, go check them out at cdpsaver.com. They're producing some really cool stuff, including a live mainnet CDP marketplace that's already functional. That I was so surprised when I found out about, because I didn't know that existed on mainnet yet. So yeah, check them out. And I think that we're going to have them as a guest next Tuesday. So thank you guys. See you next week.
Thank you. Thanks for the demo, Eli and David, for questions.